Coming up today on Longwood Live, the results from the recent Student Government Association elections are in, but not without a bit of controversy over how the entire process unfolded. Also, I sat down with outgoing SGA President Cam Patterson to discuss his presidency as well as the ongoing concerns over this year's election results. Finally, as this year draws to a close, preparation for next year's incoming class is well underway as Longwood's admissions office has just released early numbers on who will make the class of 2014. All that and more is headed your way right now. Welcome to today's edition of Longwood Live. I'm Keenan Crump. Our top story of the day, the Student Government Association left reeling after the latest election results have left a black cloud over an otherwise exciting contest for the office of SGA President. Members of the student body and the SGA itself remain skeptical over not only the election results, but the process as well. Here's Max Duchesne with more on the story.
It was the highest voting turnout in any SGA election in Longwood's history. A historic 1,670 students logged onto Blackboard to cast their votes for next year's Student Government Association officers.
The students can log on, any student in the entire school, even graduate students, and vote for the Executive Board, Honor Judicial Board, and their class council.
However, as the polls closed at 5 p.m. last Friday, the excitement surrounding the election quickly turned to confusion and was then followed by outrage.
I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I don't think I deserve to be lied to.
The following are only a few of the numerous problems to plague this year's elections process. At 5 a.m. on Friday, Blackboard shuts down, halting the voting process for nearly 5 hours. It was later learned that over 400 votes cast by students were not submitted properly and consequently did not count towards the results. The worst, however, was still to come. Students from multiple positions were left off of the ballot and henceforth shut out from the elections process. Controversy reached a new level when the premature results of the election were revealed to the candidates on Friday evening. It just so happens that those results were incorrect.
Or I was told that I won on Friday, and then finding out Monday that was not true was kind of hurtful to me.
On Tuesday, April 13th, SGA met for what began as a normal weekly Senate meeting. However, halfway through the meeting, it became aware that things would not be business as usual.
The meeting turned tense as Webmaster Jerry Martin approached the podium and addressed the Senate and proposed a complete revote for all offices.
I move that the results of the election conducted last week be rendered null and void, and a revote be performed beginning next Wednesday.
Martin's proposal was met by both disapproval and support by members of the Senate. But before the motion was even considered, two senators, Nathan Cook and Sean Fidler, walked out of the meeting, breaking quorum and forcing the meeting into temporary recess.
What I hope will happen is also what I think will happen, and I think that the students, the senators, will not pass this motion. This motion will fail. The election results will remain, they will stand, they will not be nullified, and that is in the best interest of all the students.
I would like to see the people who caused this meeting to go into recess be censured. It was incredibly rude and incredibly disrespectful.
Senate will reconvene next Tuesday, April 20th, and the first matter to be discussed, well, you guessed it, what to do about this whole election situation. Now, as it stands today, SGA Senate is still technically in session, and the results for the election do remain, for now at least, official. This is Max Duchesne, reporting for Longwood Live.
And now joining us on the set is Corey Morris, the news editor for the Rotunda, who's been covering the recent controversial SGA elections for the past week. And Corey, we want to thank you for joining us here on Longwood Live.
Well, thank you, Kenan.
Can you give us a little bit of an update over what's been taking place so far since the results were released on Monday?
Well, we don't have a lot more news to report to you concerning updated reports, but what we can tell you is what we know thus far, and that is that there's some discrepancy over the legitimacy of this election as a whole. Emily Van Daneker was unofficially told she had won the election on Friday afternoon, but the results weren't made official until Monday at 5 p.m. So there's some question over why the results were released in the first place and the actual vote count, which the numbers don't seem to match up.
Now, we have seen that there have been students and members of the SGA itself who have been concerned over the, like you said, legitimacy of the election results that were released on Monday. Can you tell us what the SGA is doing in order to try and quell those concerns?
There's a lot of concerns, both internally and externally, from a lot of senators on the SGA and from students who were both involved in the elections and just watching as outsiders. What the SGA is doing right now, there's been a motion put on the table by Senator Jerry Martin, also webmaster of SGA, that calls for a recount, or a revote of the election. Now, what has happened is two senators walked out of the SGA meeting, Senator Cook and Senator Fidler, meaning that they couldn't have quorum to actually vote on the motion on the table. So what we're seeing now is the SGA is still in recess. That meeting is not officially over. It should pick up next Tuesday, and that will be the first order of business to vote on this motion. The only problem is getting enough people to come out to the SGA meeting so this motion can be voted on. There's a lot of talk amongst senators about not showing up. So really, right now, President Patterson has promised an internal investigation onto what exactly happened, and he hopes to relieve this issue before the end of the school year.
Well, Corey, tensions are flying high in the SGA, and we hopefully will stick with you with this story as we continue here on Longwood Live.